Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Oh, you got to put your glasses on there, Clark Kent. Okay.
I do. I'm a super dad, but I don't want anybody to know it. So I'm
okay.
actually just a piece of crap to my children, so nobody can guess.
I feel like
I'm
that.
super dad.
I've definitely
I am
had
super
that.
dad. My kids just don't know
Super dad, yeah. Yikes. That t-shirt is in the dirty laundry somewhere.
it.
Oh man, I feel that sentiment definitely of not feeling somewhat worthy in my parenthood uh journey for
Yeah,
sure this week.
and I haven't even screwed anything up lately. I've got a pretty good track record for like the last week and a half or so. I've gotten into like got upset one time because my son was, well, we said it early, he told me to kiss his ass, and I just like, but I held it.
Yeah.
Everything was good. And I mean, if you look at it, I think I'm batting 1,000, but God, I don't feel it. It
Yeah.
just feels like every time I turn around, I'm screwing something up. And just, you know what?
Mine's
I'll tell you what it
mine's
is for
yeah,
me.
go yeah, do it, man. What is it?
Home dad con.
Mm.
That's what it is. It's been too long. I've been in the trenches too long. I need to get out and take a little vacay.
Is it that
And
30-day stretch where you're just like it cannot get here soon
just,
enough?
oh my God. And we're like 18 days, I think now, or
Oh
18, 19
no,
days
no,
on
no.
the,
We're 16 days
we're
to the start
16.
of it from when this is recording. And for you and me, sir, we will be there 2 weeks. And so
Nice.
when this actually drops, I'll probably be on the road.
Mm-hmm. You're going down
So
Monday. I'm going down Tuesday.
no, I'm
So,
going out Tuesday. I'm going
oh, you
Tuesday
are
as well.
Tuesday. Okay. Oh,
Yep.
today is Tuesday. Okay. Just stop. Today's Tuesday. That's all. I forgot. It's been a
Yeah.
long day.
Folks, we usually record on a Wednesday. We're recording on a Tuesday because we're trying to be accommodating to our
Yeah.
guests for the
Has
day.
thrown me off.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I hear you. My thing has been too with the whole not feeling adequate, I guess would be the word, is my son with being in the hospital and whatnot, like kind of got behind on assignments and trying to explain to him like the importance of assignments and then finding out too that like he just straight up like will just pick out, I don't want to do that assignment. Like straight
Why?
up. Like he was the only kid in his class to not do an assignment for like a timeline of like the 10 things that you would find most notable in your life. Like he's, I don't know why. I think, well, actually, I take it back. I do know why only after having a conversation with him. He just everything that happened this summer, he didn't
Hmm.
want to share anything that was going on. Like it was, just he's like, I don't want to, because he's like, to
Yeah.
him, it was a pinnacle moment, but he doesn't want to share it with anybody,
Yeah.
like
That
in
makes
that
good
fashion.
sense. Yeah.
It totally does, but at the same time too, he's 11 and he doesn't know how to communicate well enough to basically say like, I had a shitty summer and
Hmm.
or at least a shitty like week or so, 2 weeks of summer that just basically crushed my entire summer.
Yeah.
And I don't want to even highlight all the other good things. It took us a weekend, man, to like work with him to get things done. And then our printer decided that it was just like, I'm not going to work for you and print these pictures off and everything. And I'm like, just wanted to have an office space moment with that freaking printer. It about
And
found
I
its
think
way out
even
to
the
the
youngest
yard.
of generations understands that joke.
If they don't
I
go look it
just,
up, you'll
just,
understand real
yeah,
quick.
take this
How
printer
that
out and
is
hit
not
it.
a how that is not a more used meme, I don't even know. Like that's one I do not see very often, but I feel like it could be an everyday meme for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been kind of the battle with things, and then I don't know. Like you said, like this in this 30-day stretch coming up to Home Dad Con, it's it's just like everything just starts falling down.
Hmm.
And it's almost like trying to put just blockades and getting to that point of where like, oh, this is the mental break. This is the break I need,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um,
I do know.
I will say, and guy gets to make this even more like poignant, and I've gotten permission to actually share this story, but Joe Saladino, who we've had on the show, is going through a bunch of medical stuff right now.
Hmm.
They found some things with him in the past couple of weeks, and so he's been going and seeing specialists and trying to get things figured out in his and in his thing. Like, he called me up and was just like, I need big prayers, uh, positive thoughts and good vibes, like all sent my way right now, because between what I'm dealing with and mentally and physically, he's like, I need all the support I can get. And I was like, man, I if you're okay with it, I'd love to be able to share that with the listeners, because most of us that listen to this show are friends with him.
Hmm.
And those that don't know him, well, you're missing out on a really good guy.
That's
And
true.
so yeah, if if any of those things fit you, as far as like, when someone's in need, like, please take the time to send a little, you know, good vibes, good thoughts, or prayer, like
Yeah. Just
in
reach
his
out.
direction, because
Yeah.
him and his family could really use it right now. So yeah.
Hmm. Man, I hate to hear anything because Joe's such a good guy. I
Yeah.
mean, he's very giving, very generous, has always been there for the organization in so many ways. Um, and for me
And I
personally, to be honest, I mean,
yeah.
he's very important to us.
He's a good dude, and I honestly feel like, they're gonna come out on top on this. It's just, one of those tough time moments type of things. So staying positive is the key there for that, especially. So that's
Hmm.
uh that's kind of where things are. So, but I just wanted to put that out there, because yeah, I think in situations like this is exactly what the network is good for, is
Yeah.
rallying the troops.
Hmm.
So,
Very
and
true.
that's the other thing I'm really excited about with coming up to Home Dad Con, because um there's been so much of that that's taken place this year. I've I've been asked to like write down what took place going out west earlier this year, and so I'm trying to put all my thoughts into that.
Hmm.
But it's just a testament to to this organization, of how that all plays out. And I think too, like, with Discord, uh, the ability to share different things is where I feel like our guests really like their journey of fatherhood into talking about healthy snacks for kids, especially kids who are in situations where you have a gluten allergy, you have a peanut allergy, like whatever it is, like
Hmm.
you're allergic to red dye number 4 or whatever it is, that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many different avenues to it. And I feel like the conversations that have taken place, especially in the nurse's office channel, which I think is a great name for for that
Hmm.
channel,
Right.
um, has definitely spurred on conversations where it's like, all right, like, my kid has been diagnosed with this, or my kid's acting this way, like when they eat certain things. And I think
Hmm.
that Kyle and Nick are going to come in with some great insight into that.
And I hear that they'll actually be making snacks.
Ooh,
And
okay.
I think maybe in their breakout, or maybe they'll just have them to offer. But either way, I think that's the rumor. So I will have to ask and get it guaranteed or
Home
confirmed
back at
with
Home
them.
Dad Con.
Right,
Woohoo!
right. I think this is perfect. That's what we need to do every time is
I love it.
to cook something, some way to have a grill. That's what we need. Just have a grill out there and have 30 dads standing around and going, "Oh, you need to flip that burger."
we got the hot plates here. What are we making today?
That would
Yeah.
be hilarious.
But yeah, so I'm excited to hear what they have to say, because I think the other thing too, we were talking about this before we came on, like, we're coming into Halloween. Most of us dads participate in that with our kids in some way, shape, or form, and I think now more than ever, it's a different world going
Hmm.
trick-or-treating. And everything from kids with different allergies to uh kids who are on the spectrum and need to be like just sort of treated differently as far as like
Hmm.
how things would have been back in the day. There's everything from different colored pumpkins that you know
Yeah.
give that away to like, hey, like this is a safe place, like we understand, to even maybe multiple bowls of different treats. Like, yeah, you can have your
Hmm.
traditional stuff, chocolates with peanuts, whatever all that is, like you got to have your Reese's peanut butter cups. That's it's not Halloween without those.
Let's not go
uh
crazy now. Come on.
oh my goodness. Anyway,
Gotta have the Reese's.
yeah, and then you get things like a bowl with stickers in it, or a bowl with like temporary tattoos, or you've got and maybe you're doing gummy snacks or something like that. But the idea being that more than one bowl, so that way kids are not sort of like, oh man, there's nothing here for me kind of deal. I think is another avenue almost to that conversation.
And I just want to throw it out there. Everybody gets the joke when I say not gummy snacks are for adults. It's okay.
What are you talking about, man?
Nothing, man. Nothing at all.
Nothing
Not a
at all.
thing. Nothing a thing.
All right. Well, anyway. So yeah. So we'll have Nick and Kyle Denny on here in just a moment. Nick
Yay.
Hargis and Kyle Denny will be on here in just a moment, and we'll be talking healthy snacks. So we'll be right back.
Noise.
Become a member of the National At Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. All right, and we are back. We've got our guests with us, Nick Hargis and Kyle Denny, who have started to become frequent flyers on our podcast, and that's a okay thing. How you guys doing?
Great. Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Just coming out of all the rain from the hurricane. Not quite what they had in the south, but it's still just been kind of gloomy and gross here. But I'm definitely glad that Danny is no longer in Georgia, because that was just that whole area was scary
Yeah.
enough. But definitely thinking about our other brethren that are down in that region and all that they're dealing with.
Yeah. Especially Asheville. Goodness. It's just
Yeah.
gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Some of the before
Yeah.
and after pictures, but
glad
Yeah.
you guys are here. Excited to talk about your topic for your breakout at home DadCon, which we were just saying is only like a couple of weeks away. Holy cow. And when actually this when this airs, will be even closer to being there.
week
So
away.
that's a week
Right.
away. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting stuff. um So you guys have been on the show before. We've talked about your families and things like that, but it seems like your topic is more based towards, I would imagine, your kids and things that you're going through as parents with your kids. Um, just to kind of get us a little bit of background information, I'm gonna start with you, Nick. Uh, Tell us a little bit about like kind of where this desire to talk about this topic comes from, like, and how that connects maybe to your kids.
Yeah, our family has food allergies, including myself. I have a not common one. It's nickel. That's more of a bucket allergy. So, like, when you think, are you eating nickel? Like, you're not eating a bracelet. You're eating things that are grown in the ground. So potatoes, like grapes, chocolate, anything like that has a certain amount of nickel content from the soil. And the more of that you eat, the more that gets built up in your system. There's ways to relieve it, like sweating, but like if you're not being active in the winter and maybe having chili and chocolate and full of nuts, it builds up fast.
Now,
Um,
I'm curious. You said it's from some plants that are grown in the ground, which is pretty much, I would say, almost 100%. Like from what I understand, unless it's hydroponic, I guess, would be the only difference. But like, are you able to like? Is it like, just like the ground itself, like where you're at, or like is bags of topsoil that's kind of been filtrated and things like that going to be better for you and being able to eat the food from that?
it really just doesn't matter because it's going to have similar content anyway.
Hmm.
There's higher ones like chocolate and nuts, um, but it's all about moderation and then being able to sweat that out.
Wow. Okay.
Uh, so if I have too much, I have like a baseline itch level, um, and then if I ignore that and keep eating foods that are tasty, then I will get an eczema flare.
Mm.
If I'm not sweating it out enough. Um, and then my kids have other allergies, and some of them have this one as well. Uh, my oldest son was dealing with soy before he outgrew it, and then my youngest is got soy and all legumes as well. And then our middle grew out of eggs as an allergy, but still dealing with coconut. And then we also grew out of the gourd family. So it was gourds and melons. So pumpkin and watermelon and acorn squash and all that family.
Okay.
So we've had to do a lot of navigating and label reading and making sure that food is safe, hence the
and
title Safe Snacks.
and especially with yourself and then three kids, that's four people. I'm not sure how your partner is, but that's at least four people that every meal you're basically doing. I mean, I don't know if you had to do four meals each time,
We're
but it seems
short
like
order
you would
cooking a
have
lot
to
of the time.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, just like, okay, I'm going to get you this, something completely different, and then you something different, and I'll eat. Well, you're the dad, so you probably just eat the leftovers, I guess. I don't know if that's how it works, but that's got to be very, very hard to kind of keep that going. That it's very, very demanding. Like I know for me, I was just like, no, I'm going to put something in the crock pot. I'm not going to worry about it for later. And I don't have to cook dinner. And that's the way I want my life to be a lot of times because everybody can eat everything. They're like locust. But having that, like, okay, I want to make chili. Well, that's got legumes in it. We got to take that out. And it has this in it. So we can't do, okay. So we're going to have to do something else. So that seems like a lot of work. I mean, very difficult
It
to
is, but
handle.
it's our normal. So like unless we're sitting in this format talking about it, like it doesn't really come up that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like you said, we make chili without beans because the youngest can't have beans. So and
Hmm.
it's not good for me to have a bunch of them either. So
Does that make it
meaty
difficult to
chili it
also
is.
go? Does that also make it difficult to go eat out?
Yeah, we have Chipotle and Whataburger that are our safe places, and that's it. So, and the closest Whataburger to us in Columbia, Missouri is in Kansas City. So that's 100 miles
Wow.
away.
Yeah.
Come on,
So,
Whataburger. You need to get a closer one for this family.
and then Chipotle is our kind of like safe spot. We're actually going on a fall trip because the kids have a fall break coming up this week, and we've already scouted the nearest Chipotle to where we're going because that's our fallback, so we don't have to make every meal in the hotel microwave.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chipotle, so I mean I would eat Chipotle every day if I could.
I, I don't think no matter how much I love it, I don't know that I can eat the same thing every day. I say that I can, but when the
Well, they got
reality I
a
think hits me, I'd be like, oh no, I don't want Chipotle again today. I gotta
they've
do
got a
something else.
vast
But
menu, so you don't have to eat the
do
same
they?
thing every
Okay. I
day.
haven't
So
eaten at Chipotle, I'll admit.
Well,
Marnie
they do
doesn't
have a
like that
vast
spice,
menu,
so
but like when you think about it, like one can't have soy, and there's a lot of dairy products contain soy. So like when we go and order for our youngest, like she can't have the cheese, she can't have the sour cream. So it's a tortilla, a meat, and rice, and
mm-hmm.
that's pretty much it. Like,
Mm,
okay, yeah,
so
that makes sense. All
that's
right,
tough though.
yeah, that
But at
is
least you
tough,
have
definitely.
it'll at least get 90% of it pretty easily for you. You find something. That's good.
Well, hey, Nick, thank you for that information. That's like I said, I wanted to get a good background. That definitely helps to understand what's going on in your family. Kyle, let's switch over to you a little bit. Same question. You've had some time to think about it during this entire conversation. So tell us a little bit about the background of, your, kind of situation into getting involved in this conversation, and then also to like what your kids and you are also going through.
Okay. So yeah, and it was like 6 months before my wife and I were getting married. So we had already like got a caterer and the food hall and all that stuff. And I was propositioned by my sister who had recently went plant-based or vegan. And she asked me like she was selling me on why I should also go vegan. And I was like, huh, it sounds very interesting. It matched up with so the selling point was environmentalism. And that was my foray into
Mm-hmm.
why I should be vegan. And so yeah, like 4 months before our wedding, we called the caterer and we're like, that whole menu we spent months planning out, let's scratch it and start over. So that was fun,
Yeah.
and just the beginning of it was a learning curve. And since then, I mean, it's like Nick said, it's part of our life now, so it's
Mm-hmm.
super easy. It's also helped that we've been plant-based since 2011. So many new products have come on the market. It does make life a lot easier. And so yeah, my kids have been vegan since birth. Now that I have a 9 and 6-year-old, they're both in the school system. My daughter especially was like very much wanted to eat lunch with the kids. She hated bringing her lunch to school. So me and my wife talked, and we give our kids the option to, they like, our home is vegan. What you do outside the home, that's up to you. So my
Mm-hmm.
kids have both experimented with eating meat. They both have. My daughter, I think, was a little more interested in it and tried it at least 3 to 5 times, and then that's kind of been it. So they both enjoy the plant-based lifestyle, and yeah, it works out really well for us.
So your sort of kind of uh invitation into this wasn't like Nick's, where it was more of a, I guess, a forced like, hey, like there's allergies and things involved. Like yours was more of a personal choice of just like you said, environmental.
Yeah, it was definitely ethics, and ethics honestly is what keeps it going.
Mm-hmm.
As like as you get involved with anything, you just start to read more and get more passionate about it. So, you know, as we learn more about animal rights and or animal welfare, and yeah, continuing to learn about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture, it just strengthened the, you know, why we do what we do. And honestly, listening to Nick's talk about you know, the allergies, it definitely makes me very glad that, you know, I did this by choice and not allergies, because, you know, I mean, there's, yeah, I mean, yeah, I just can't imagine having, you know, getting sick from like eating a little dairy or something like that.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it definitely has worked out really well for our family. And you know, when I go to the convention, it's always fun to explore new restaurants. I spend months mapping out, you know, at least 4 or 5 places I want to eat
You're not
and
alone in that
trying the
at all.
new. Yeah, and you know, the great thing is yeah, like I said, the vegan options have exploded. And so, I mean, I go to a lot of the same places. The Salt and Smoke is where we're going to be eating at this year.
Yeah, that's one of the
They
restaurants.
and they have a veg option. So, I mean, yeah, you can go to a steakhouse and they'll have a, you know, a Beyond Burger or something.
Yeah.
So it
And I
definitely
do
is pretty
love
easy.
that there is so much more out there too, because a lot of what you see for, I mean, I think we all remember the cowboy commercial. They go, beef, it's what's for dinner, you know, and that was the entire mindset for so long. And the thought of having, I mean, we still get people today that make fun of people that eat vegetarian or vegan, like, oh, well, no, no, my food, that's what my food eats is what you're eating or something like that. And it's just like, yeah, okay, cool, cool. But why is it that important to you? Why do you care what someone else eats, right? But when you look at also what vegetarian lifestyle gives you, and not just ethically, I think, but in a lot of cases, the health benefits. Um, I know what eating a lot of meat does to me. I still do it because I've learned to enjoy that, right, and expect it. But I think it's excellent that you've got that too, and that you're doing it in a way that everybody can see it, everybody's aware of it. We have vegetarian options at Home DadCon, but it's not something that you demand everybody else does it. You know, you're not saying, well, everybody should do this. Like, no, this is what I've decided, and even my kids can decide if they want to do something differently. And as a parent, that I think is one of the most important things we can do is say, look, this is where I live, but you don't have to. I think you should, but if you want to try this or this and go this way, as long as you're not harming yourself or anyone else, that's great. And to have that open mindedness about it is, I think, a big part of why it's gotten more prevalent because we don't have people that are demanding, well, everybody needs to do it. You need, no, no, this is what I'm doing. If you want to do it, that's great. And I think
Yeah,
that's a very good lesson.
I think, you know, we've learned from our past. Like the more
Hmm.
you demand something from someone, you know, the more push you give, the more they're going to push back. And
Right.
Well,
so, you
speaking of
know,
demand and that kind of thing, I am curious, someone who works as someone who works in the restaurant industry, you know, with working at the brewery and stuff, like we have some different items on our menu, but I'm curious from both of you guys, what would be like one or two things that you wish were on a menu when you went into a restaurant? Like, have you ever had that kind of like, man, if like just that sort of like I wish these things were on this menu. I mean, it could be based upon, of course, like different restaurants or whatever, but are there just a couple of things that when you go there, you're just like, man, like I'm so bored with the typical menu items because for whatever reason, like that's all that's as far as outside of the box that the restaurant will go for being able to help other people. I'm just curious, like what would be the one or two things that you would like to see? Nick, what about you, man?
Ours is a little different because we're
Sure.
avoiding things and substituting things. So it's not like I can pick out a restaurant and wish they had some other option because a lot of ours is like, oh, we're not going to use the bun because it has soy in it, or she can't have the cheese because of the milk and the soy. So like it's a lot of having plain options that we can mix and match and order a la carte for us.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, do you get a lot of pushback when you're like, hey, like we want to order this, but don't put this and this on there and that kind of thing? Like, how does that work?
No, because the restaurants that we can usually eat at have online ordering systems. So like I can specify what I'm getting and like explain why I need it this way. So, and they're usually very on top of making
Online
sure that
ordering.
everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
It's
Online
been a
ordering
blessing.
systems is so much better than talking to a person who has an opinion. For sure. Kyle, what about you, man? Like, you got any specific items?
Yeah. So I mentioned like the Beyond Burgers, Impossible, that they're readily available at a lot of places. Um, and then like the other option they usually have is like a plain salad. So I guess I would like, some more better options. Like tempeh is probably one of my favorite foods right now.
What is
It's
it?
a for tempeh.
Tempe.
It's
Okay.
a fermented soybean product, and so it kind of comes in like a brick. And then one of my favorite ways to make that is to marinate it in like a sauce, and it kind of soaks in the flavor. And then you can chop it up and put it in like pasta, rice, any sort of dish. Yeah, so tempeh's, and it's very protein heavy. So tempeh's awesome. And it's really, unless it's a vegetarian or vegan restaurant, it's not on the menu. So I wish that was a little more mainstream. And maybe like, I feel like kids menus need overhaul because it's, chicken nuggets,
Mac
it's
and
grilled
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing plant based. And a lot of places, even if they have a veggie burger, they won't substitute it for the kids menu.
Mm.
Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, so I would
Well, and
like to
that,
see
yeah, go ahead.
kids palates expanded.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like that. So I think that one of the things that we have at our restaurant is like for vegan is a black bean burger. Um, which to me, I was like, that's kind of boring.
Oh,
I would,
really?
I think it, well, I mean, what I mean by that is like, I feel like there should be a vaster option. Like I like
Oh,
the
more
idea of,
options.
yeah, yeah. What I mean is like the different burgers that Kyle's talking about, like I feel like are a little bit more like I guess flavorful or have some more things in it with a
Yeah,
veggie burger and that kind of thing. Whereas black beans are pretty there's not a lot going on there, to be
Hmm.
honest. So
sure.
but yeah, like that and that's the kind of thing that even though I'm not vegan, there are times where I'm just like, man, like I feel bad for different customers who come in and like that's the only thing. And if they've gone to other places and that's the only thing as well, it's like we're doing a disservice to customers by not having a better option or other options for that matter. And I think that that goes across the board for any restaurant. Like, you know, it doesn't take much to show you care about your customer by having these other options that are going to not make it seem like, oh, we're just doing this because we have to do it type of thing versus we actually have a heart for the fact that people have made choices, for their health, or two, they're in a situation where like, you know, they have to keep an eye, they have to watch out for their family, and
Hmm.
you guys fit into both those categories and with your families and stuff. And so, yeah, I appreciate you sharing about that.
So let's talk about making snacks
Ooh,
because
snacks.
evidently, if I heard it right, we're going to be making snacks during your breakout.
We are going to make
Yeah.
one recipe, but a
Snack,
lot of
simple snack.
Kyle's and I's overlap happens in the packaged snack area. Because when you're trying to avoid top 8, top 9 allergens,
Hmm.
you're also kind of entering into that vegan route where things are vegan free as well. So a company that we both have in common is Enjoy Life. They make top 8 allergen free chocolate chips and granola bars and things like that.
Mm.
Uh, and then another one that we have in common is Partake. They have a chocolate chip cookie, uh, mini chocolate chip cookie snack that's packaged. There's a few more, but I'm trying to recall them off of the top of my head, and I'm drawing a blank. Um, but that's kind of where we got talking is like, what when it's snack time, like what do you have that when you can't grab an apple or something fresh? Like,
Yeah. And you know, kids, I mean, there's only so many fruits and fresh things that they want. Plus, with school days, you know, you're sending a snack now.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's where we run into our biggest problem, just because I don't want to say my kid's picky, but they're picky.
It's a
And
kid.
so,
We get it.
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's like when you're, you know, when you're following a certain diet, it already limits you, and then your kids, you know, preferences limit it
Mm-hmm.
even more.
Even
And then
more.
it's
Yeah.
like we got like 3 things we can take kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
always on the lookout for some package that we can send over to, you know, friend's house, school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking at their website. I got Partake, or yeah, partakefoods.com pulled up here. These look
Mhm.
delicious. These cookies look delicious. I would have these in my house. They look super tasty.
I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest talking point is that the leap that is made in the last decade of the alternative options and their flavor has been a lot.
Yeah. Top 9 allergen free, vegan and gluten free, birthday cake cookies and
Yeah.
like classic graham crackers. Like,
It it reminds me of protein bars. So I don't know if y'all had power bars
oh
maybe
yeah.
10 years, and it was just whey protein in a in a bar, and it wasn't like I would eat it and it was fine, but it was like almost lack of flavor, and it was like, is this sawdust? What is this? But now you go into and you look at any of the protein bars, because I look for a lot of that have very, very low carbs. I want it first thing in the morning before I go work out. I want to have just protein and I don't want to cook. Um, and getting a protein bar now, and I'm like, this tastes like birthday cake, or this tastes like a maple donut. And it just blows my
Mhm.
mind. I'm like, there's no way I'm not getting 27,000 grams of sugar. No, it's just they've refined it to where they know, well, that's what this tastes like. Here, let's let the cardboard taste like this. And it's not the same, I know, but it reminds me of that. And that just, it's changed so much. I do kind of miss the plain protein bars sometimes. Power bars are kind of my thing for a while. But having the ability to find it,
Just
it's
get the
delicious.
Kirkland brand ones and you'll go right back to them, man. Like
Right to the
I
power
can't
bar.
I cannot handle the Kirkland brand. I love Kirkland brand stuff, but their protein bar is definitely reminiscent of exactly what you're talking about. And
I'm
that's why,
gonna have to
well,
try it.
and the only reason I say that is because like we were trying to find a good protein bar, one for me for, what I was working on with my weight stuff, and then for Hezekiah for everything he's going through. And we bought one of those boxes and a box of the RX bars.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the RX bars are so good. Like they're not dry at all, which is awesome.
Yeah,
And they've got really
that's good.
good like fruits and nuts and things in them. So, but
So
yeah,
looking
so
at the snacks y'all are gonna make, I'm assuming it's gonna be something you don't have to cook,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? Something you just put together. Do you know what it is? Can you tell us, or does it have to be you have to wait and
It's
see?
we have to wait and see because we haven't quite
Okay.
settled on that recipe yet.
I think that's better. Everybody can be, well, what is it? It's like a cliffhanger. They'll be waiting. What was the snack, man?
there we
So
go. Hey, I'm looking here
Yeah.
too at Enjoy Life, and they have chocolate chip cookies or chocolate chips. Like you can like they've got actual
Mhm.
things like that, which is really cool. I did not expect to see that when I pulled this up, honestly, because typically you just find stuff that's already like pre-made, and the fact that you have ingredients that you can put into it, which is really cool as well. I take it that you guys have both tried these different brands out? Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what we use at home instead of your preferred brand, whether it's Nestle Toll House or Ghirardelli or something else. Like
oh,
that's our
Toll House
go-to.
all the way. That is tradition in
Um,
Yeah.
this family.
And I
our
will say the Enjoy Life, I mean, those chocolate chips, you can't tell that they're,
Okay.
dairy free and just, yeah, completely different than the other chocolate chips. They're fantastic.
That's
Yeah,
great.
our youngest does cooking in preschool where they kind of do the non-cooking cooking. Like we don't have
Yeah.
an oven, we're gonna mix some things together, and that's one of the things we'll send.
Okay. No, that's exciting, man. This is great. I actually just pulled it up. It seems like they're pretty well um like distributed. You can find them in a lot of
Mhm.
different places. Like I pulled up Cincinnati and multiple locations for it. So that's
Are
exciting.
y'all going to be able to have any of those on hand during your breakout? Is that
We
something,
have to decide
a budget
on a
thing?
recipe. We have our budget, and then once we know what's left, we're gonna prioritize. Like, okay, we can get everybody a couple of chocolate chips if we buy a chocolate chip bag, and etc. So
Well,
we
I
just
mean,
have to.
have you reached out to these brands?
I
Like,
have
hey,
reached out to Enjoy Life. They have already allocated to other nonprofits, so they are not going to send anything.
Mm-hmm.
all
Yeah,
right.
we tried our favorite brand sending some contact info and trying to get some snacks, and we're not successful.
Uh, next year, right? Like
Maybe.
Yeah.
get in there early. I get it though. Like yeah, when you ask for things, if depending on when they cut off their end of the year givings and stuff like that, it goes really quickly. So yeah, totally.
I want to say too, I think it's fantastic that you're doing a breakout that is kind of hands-on, that is making something. I think Brock said it in the intro. It's kind of like home ec, right? Where we get to go back to
Yes.
we're
Oh
doing
yeah,
these basic
we're going to
things that,
fax class.
yeah, and that's great. I really think that's really important. There's so many things that we do in this job that, I mean, my mom did not cook. She just didn't. She barely knew how to I mean, literally a frozen pizza. And she had my kids. She goes, "Do I take the cardboard off when I put it in the oven?" I'm like, "Mom, are you gonna set your house on fire while my children are there? Come on." But she didn't have any of that ability. So never learning how to do it. Like, I mean, I knew how to boil water. I could make hot dogs and macaroni and cheese because I knew how to boil water, right? But picking up all those little things about, and then getting in some hands-on stuff about this is our day to day. Because for me, looking at the amount of food my children eat, preparing food, and we've talked about it in another podcast, but preparing food is much cheaper. A lot of times, maybe you can't do the same, like the chocolate chips and quality like that. There's a different level, but having the ability to do something and say, okay, kids, here, you can have this as a snack and know that it's healthy. And then having learned how to do it by, we'll just say professionals, because y'all both been at least doing it long enough that you should have been paid for it, you know? So I think
There
that's
you go.
great to bring that too as part of your breakout. Like that's very important that we see as much of that as we can.
Yeah. And I also want like dads to know that while this presentation, it doesn't require that you have a kid with, an allergy or a dietary preference. Like I mentioned, taking things into school, you just have so many concerns now, and friends over and stuff. So I think it's good knowledge for anyone, whether you're, you know, and your family has an allergy. It's just good knowledge to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great thing to point out, definitely, because yeah, I think a lot of times for parents who don't have kids in that, dealing with those things, like we don't know. It's like so being able to have that extra bit of information just allows to, allow that kid to feel a little more seen, and we all want to feel seen. So, that's I think that's awesome that you would point that out. Guys, it's been awesome talking with you. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see you guys in person in a couple of weeks and
That's for
actually get
sure.
to hang out. I'm looking forward to going running with you, Kyle, and I'm sure you'll be eons ahead of me. So that's okay though. But I see where guys are still signing up for the 5K, so that's exciting. Real quick plug. does that have a cutoff date, and is it coming up soon?
The cutoff date, you can still register, but medals are not guaranteed at this point because we have ordered already.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So
That's what I thought.
yeah.
There is one medal left, so if you are the next lucky customer, you can have it.
There
And
you
they
go.
look great. They look great. You guys did a great job designing that and picking it out, and the lanyard and everything. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it
I would
looks
say I haven't seen anything. Don't tell me
very
about
well
it. I
done.
haven't seen it, so
I'm just saying it looks great. That's all.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it really does. Good work.
Well, hey, fellas, like I said, thanks for coming on the show, and really looking forward to hearing more about your talk, and hopefully, guys who are just looking for ways to, be there for their kids or their kids' friends. I think that you guys have a lot to offer with your breakout. So, we will talk to you in a couple of weeks, and for everybody else, we'll talk to you all next week. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.